Welcome back to the Global Insight. Today we turn our attention to NATO, a pillar of global security and collective defence in Europe, which now faces its most significant challenges since the height of the Cold War. The stakes have never been higher, as Russia's actions from the annexation of Crimea in 2014 to its full-scale invasion of Ukraine have forced a re-evaluation of security strategies. NATO has found itself evolving at an unprecedented pace. What was once primarily a post-World War II transatlantic defence alliance has now become a dynamic force adapting to modern-day geopolitical turbulence. In this video, we'll dive into how NATO is reshaping its approach to defence in response to modern threats. From integrating Finland and Sweden into the alliance to strengthening its military and cyber capabilities, NATO's strategies are being refined to meet the demands of a more complex world. Additionally, we'll explore NATO's growing partnership with Ukraine and how these evolving relationships could define not just Europe's future, but the future of global security as a whole. Welcome to the Global Insight.
For the next decade, country after country has vowed to help Ukraine build its deterrent and defense capacity. That sends the strongest possible message to Vladimir Putin that he can't outlast Ukraine, he can't outlast Ukraine's partners.
In today's increasingly volatile geopolitical environment, NATO has become more vital than ever, especially as a bulwark against Russia's growing ambitions. With Russia's aggressive military activities, beginning with its annexation of Crimea and culminating in its ongoing war in Ukraine, European countries are on high alert, fearing further destabilization across the continent. Russia, though only the world's 11th largest economy, exerts considerable geopolitical influence, largely due to its vast energy resources. This energy leverage, particularly over Europe, creates an atmosphere reminiscent of the Cold War with a modern twist. Economic power now intertwines with military might, deepening the complexity of the threat. The stakes are incredibly high. Without NATO's unified approach to collective defense, individual European nations would be left vulnerable to Russia's pressure and potential aggression. NATO provides a critical deterrent. An attack on one member is an attack on all, ensuring that no nation stands alone. The consequences of any miscalculation in this geopolitical game could be devastating, potentially igniting a conflict with far-reaching and unpredictable consequences. As global tensions escalate, NATO's ability to adapt and respond to these pressures has become indispensable in safeguarding not only Europe, but global security. Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 was a defining moment that forced NATO to reassess its strategic posture towards Moscow. The bold move not only violated international law, but also shattered the fragile peace in Europe, thrusting NATO back into a central role as the key defender against Russian expansionism. In response, NATO swiftly cut all civilian and military cooperation with Russia, signaling that the alliance would no longer tolerate breaches of international norms. This move was the first in a series of decisive actions that underscored NATO's readiness to confront the new reality of Russian aggression. One of the most significant outcomes of this shift was the Enhanced Forward Presence, or EFP, initiative, through which NATO deployed multinational battle groups to Poland, the Baltic states, and other Eastern European countries. These battle groups, designed to be a visible deterrent, marked a sharp pivot from NATO's previous focus on post-Cold War peacekeeping missions to a more aggressive defensive stance. The deployment sent a clear message. NATO was prepared to defend its eastern flank and would not hesitate to act against any future threats from Russia. This transition represented a new era for NATO, one where active deterrence replaced the optimism of a cooperative post-Cold War Europe. The accession of Finland and Sweden into NATO marks one of the most pivotal moments in the alliance's modern history. Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine spurred both Nordic countries to abandon their long-standing military neutrality, accelerating their bids for NATO membership. This expansion has not only strengthened NATO's overall military capabilities, but also strategically reshaped its defense posture in Europe. Finland's inclusion alone brings an 830-mile border with Russia under NATO's sphere of influence, turning the country into a critical frontline state. This dramatically alters the calculus for Moscow, which now faces a significantly extended NATO presence directly on its doorstep. Sweden's membership, on the other hand, bolsters NATO's control over the strategically vital Baltic Sea. With Sweden's geography, the alliance can more effectively isolate Russian naval movements, enhancing NATO's deterrence in a region where tensions have steadily escalated. Combined, Finland and Sweden's accession symbolizes more than just an expansion in numbers. It represents a fortified northern defense line that isolates Russian influence, enhancing the alliance's ability to respond to threats across multiple fronts. In addition to expanding its membership, NATO has also responded to the Ukraine crisis by increasing its military presence in Eastern Europe. The establishment of 4 new multinational battle groups in Bulgaria, Hungary, Romania and Slovakia strengthens NATO's defensive line from the Baltic Sea down to the Black Sea. This expanded presence acts as a deterrent, ensuring that the alliance can respond swiftly to any further Russian provocations while also reinforcing its commitment to the collective security of Eastern European members.
И что все они придумывают сейчас, чем пугают весь мир, что все это реально грозит конфликтом с использованием ядерного оружия, а значит уничтожением цивилизации. Они чего, этого не понимают, что ли?
To stay ahead of evolving 21st century threats, NATO has significantly adapted its military strategies, reflecting the complex nature of modern warfare. One of the most important changes came with the release of its 2022 strategic concept during the Madrid summit. This updated blueprint, for the first time in over a decade, explicitly identifies Russia as the most significant and direct threat to peace in Europe. In response, the strategic concept focuses on 3 core missions: deterrence and defense, crisis prevention, and cooperative security. These missions outline NATO's approach to countering aggression, managing crises before they escalate into full-blown conflicts, and strengthening partnerships with non-member nations like Ukraine, which plays a key role in maintaining global stability. In tandem with these new guidelines, NATO launched the NATO Readiness Initiative, a move designed to enhance the alliance's ability to rapidly respond to crises. This initiative aims to ensure that NATO can deploy 30 battalions, 30 air squadrons, and 30 naval vessels within 30 days, marking a shift from the traditional reactive crisis management model to a more proactive deterrent stance. The goal is clear: to deter adversaries by demonstrating the alliance's capability for rapid mobilization and strong, immediate defense capabilities in case of aggression. The NATO warfighting capstone concept further exemplifies how the alliance is preparing for modern, multi-domain warfare, which increasingly blurs the line between traditional and new battlefields. This concept integrates strategies across land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace to ensure that NATO remains agile and adaptable. The inclusion of cyber defense, in particular, reflects the growing threat posed by cyber attacks and hybrid warfare, where digital vulnerabilities can be as dangerous as physical ones. By embracing this multi-domain approach, NATO is positioning itself to defend against a broader spectrum of threats in an unpredictable global landscape. NATO's role in global security has expanded significantly to confront not only traditional military threats, but also the emerging dangers of cyber warfare and hybrid challenges. As warfare evolves, so too have the tactics of adversaries like Russia, which increasingly rely on hybrid warfare, a blend of cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and unconventional tactics aimed at destabilizing NATO member states from within. These tactics undermine political systems, spread misinformation, and erode public trust, weakening nations without the need for direct military confrontation. Russia's disinformation campaigns, which often flood social media and other digital platforms, have become a core strategy in its attempt to fracture the unity of NATO allies and sow discord among populations. In response, NATO has bolstered its cyber defense capabilities, recognizing that the digital battlefield is as crucial as any physical one. One of the key measures in this effort is the Cyber Defense Pledge, which ensures that all member states are prepared to protect their critical infrastructure against significant cyber threats. This initiative promotes collaboration across the alliance, allowing members to share intelligence, coordinate responses, and collectively defend against large-scale cyber attacks. Furthermore, NATO has expanded its cyber defense training and simulation exercises, equipping its forces to respond swiftly and effectively to cyber incidents. By incorporating cyber defense into its overall strategic framework, NATO acknowledges that the threats of the future will be multifaceted, and only through a comprehensive, unified approach can the alliance maintain its defensive edge in this new age of conflict. Since 2014, Ukraine's relationship with NATO has undergone a profound transformation, evolving from limited cooperation to a deep strategic partnership. The annexation of Crimea was a turning point, prompting NATO to step up its military support to Ukraine in ways that were previously unthinkable. Over the past decade, NATO has provided a broad range of military aid, including critical weaponry like anti-tank missiles, air defense systems and drones. More recently, Ukraine has received tanks and fighter jets, a testament to the alliance's increasing willingness to bolster Ukraine's ability to resist Russian aggression. In addition to weapons, NATO has expanded training programs for Ukrainian forces, enhancing their operational capabilities and aligning their tactics with NATO standards. In a significant move, NATO established the NATO-Ukraine Council in 2023, further cementing the relationship between the two.
And I'm really honored to welcome in our midst our dear friend Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine. Welcome to you, Volodymyr. It's great to have you here.
This new council offers Ukraine a more direct voice in NATO's strategic discussions, allowing for deeper collaboration and ensuring that Ukraine's security concerns are taken into account at the highest levels. Although Ukraine is not yet a formal NATO member, this enhanced cooperation represents a clear message to Moscow. NATO is committed to helping Ukraine defend itself and sees Ukraine as a key partner in ensuring regional security. This close partnership, while stopping short of full NATO membership, signals the alliance's strong and growing commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and defense. In the face of relentless Russian aggression, NATO's unwavering support for Ukraine has become a cornerstone of its broader strategy to stabilize Eastern Europe and protect the security of the continent. As the geopolitical landscape continues to shift, NATO's evolving role in global security has never been more critical. With tensions escalating between Russia and the West, the alliance finds itself at a pivotal moment. The inclusion of new members like Finland and Sweden, alongside the modernization of its defense strategies, highlights NATO's determination to adapt to the threats of the 21st century. These moves not only strengthen its defensive capabilities, but also send a clear message that NATO remains united in its mission to deter aggression and safeguard peace across Europe. However, NATO's future is not without challenges. As Russia continues its aggressive actions, and with new threats emerging in cyberspace and beyond, NATO's ability to maintain unity and effectively respond to these diverse dangers will be constantly tested. Yet its recent transformations, from the expansion of its Eastern Front to its deeper partnership with Ukraine, show that NATO is not merely reacting, but actively reshaping itself to meet these challenges head-on. While the future may be uncertain, NATO's commitment to collective defense remains unwavering, ensuring that it will continue to play a central role in maintaining global stability in an increasingly unpredictable world. That's it for the team at the Global Insight for now. We want to hear what you think. How does NATO's evolving role affect you? Do you know somebody who's been impacted by the events in Ukraine? And what do you think about NATO's future as global tensions continue to rise? And as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here at the Global Insight. And until next time, stay tuned.
Putin is getting exactly the opposite what he intended to have as a consequence of going into Ukraine. NATO has never been more united than it is today.